this is Vishwanathan, person interested in rural development, as I was working for the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. But being a trainer, I was always connected with development of training programs for seniors, particularly bankers, administrators, and worked with the Reserve Bank College of Agriculture Banking. But after retirement, I have taken up interest in rural areas where the underprivileged children have to get education. In that context, I came across Surya Nursery and Primary School, Janapanur Dharmapuri District. And today we have with us Smt Parvathi, who is from Canada, came along with her husband, who is incidentally my classmate in the university and worked in the environmental area in Canada and other parts of the world. But his dedication is towards agriculture, while Parvati would like to have holistic education. And their school's mission statement says, holistic education to rural children who otherwise have no access to high standard schools due to their economic status, family and social background, and to expose rural children to the opportunities available to them and help channelize their interests and talent towards self-sufficiency. To empower the children not to feel alienated but feel equal to urban educated children. These children should be able to compete for higher education and employment along with the urban children. So in that context, this Janapanur village is situated far away from the urban agglomeration, and there are hardly any standard education institutions which the rural poor could afford. So I would request Srimati Parvati to tell us something about the holistic education.
Sure. Namaskar.
Can you just tell us what are the factors which prompted you to start this particular school?
Well, the intention has been there for years, but I never thought that this is going to, that the dream will be realized. As we left the country, we have been in various parts of the world, but it just so happened, people say that if you have serious intention, the nature will take care of it and then make it happen, and that's very true in our case. So the intention has been there, and then we moved back to India from Canada, and we started living in this rural area close to Bangalore. And many factors, helped us to start this and make this our old dream, come to reality.
Yeah. How is that particularly you chose only Janapanur village for your school? Is there any specific reason?
We have not chosen Janapanur. I think it chose us. It's just a coincidence that we came there and we started living in Janapanur, and then things just developed naturally.
Okay. Can you just tell me about the holistic education, because your mission statement says that holistic education, and can you elaborate further on that?
Well, everybody knows holistic education is, combination of mind, body and spirit. So take all these three factors into consideration and we develop a child. And especially in this rural area where we were living, we lived there for almost 3 years before we started the school.
I see.
And I've been observing the children and then the local population.
Okay.
And then I thought that this would be the ideal system to implement. Number one is most of the people in this area, they're daily wage workers who go in the morning and come back in the evening, or small-time farmers, or people, the parents of some of these children both of them don't have any work. So no parenting is happening basically, as opposed to what happens in cities. Parents are always with their children and trying to teach so many things. Here the only thing they're exposed to is the TV and especially the TV serials. That's what they watch.
Yes.
So we thought a holistic education is what is needed here,
Okay.
so that they develop their mind and spirit and body.
So, in that context, what is the specific teaching methodology you are adopting? Because it's a complex area, as you say, mind, body, and so you wanted to integrate. What sort of methodology you are following?
See, it's been a lot of learning this last couple of years. When the children came first, it's interesting to note that when I said something like, think about it. So there was no reaction to that word. So what is thinking? It's like, mind is part of your body. There's mind and I should, think about it. So it's mostly children were acting on their reflexes, If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. I get hurt, I know I do this kind of. But the thinking and acting was non-existent at that time when they came. So it took us a long time for them to even start understanding what the information coming to them and process that and then react to that and knowledge. So what methodology we are following is mostly experiential and practical methodology. So it's like stimulation and conversation. So we say something and then like it stimulates, like for example, what is this? We show them a pen and then what is this? They say. Then this from there, okay, what is that? Then they start thinking, question, what's a pen? So what does it do? What can you do with it? And mostly it's all practical. So we just walk around the garden, pick up a plant and show them what is this? It's a plant and so what does it have? So this is somehow, we try to inculcate, help them to think and then start. So it's mostly conversation first, talking, and then slowly we just bring that to the academics. So that way they don't, it's more than, it's not just skill development. It's knowledge based, thinking based, and that's how they get the knowledge.
Okay. As you said, initially you spent about 3 years understanding, what about the village and other environment there.
Yeah.
But then for the last 2 years,
Yes.
could you observe, sort of improvement? Because initially when you started something, you're understanding them. At the end of the second year, could you observe an improvement in the children?
Absolutely. A lot of changes. First I have to say one thing though. Tamil Nadu, in general, people are very aware of the importance of education. That we have to give the credit. And also, there is no discrimination between boys and girls. The parents are very eager to educate their children, both boys and girls. So that intention is there for all the parents. They never say, okay, she's a girl, she's going to get married. She can sit at home, let me send my son to the school. It's not like that. That much I can really appreciate the people here. They all understand the importance of education. And what observations, it took us almost 6 months for them to, for the children to react to the knowledge that they're getting. For example, you have to wash your hands before you eat. Or, you have to know bad words.
Okay.
So no bad words. Like, what are bad words?
Yeah.
So they're not even, could discriminate between, what can be said and cannot
Not be said, yeah.
right? So now, for these two examples of what the result is, even the lowercase child, when one of the helpers touched her lunch box, she was telling the helper, don't touch my lunch box, you have germs in your hands.
That's wonderful.
Without washing washing your hands.
Yes, that's good.
Right? And then when when the kids fight between each other, and there is the kids come and say, ma'am, he or she is using bad words. And then, or when they fight with each other, they come to complain. Then we say, okay, so what do we do? What did he do to you? He bet me or he said bad words. So let's say, what should we do now? So we put the responsibility on the child and ask questions. and let them think. And finally now what happens is, there's hardly any fighting.
I see, that's
Hardly
good.
any fighting.
Fight.
But even when it's natural, children do fight.
Yeah.
They have to also, right? But when they come, they're happy if I just listen to them. And before I even answer, they run away. So they're just happy. Like, okay, there's somebody's listening to what I'm saying, but they don't have any anger or, revenge or grudge against their, peers.
I see.
So that's one thing. And then another very important example I can give you is I have one child who was admitted that he was in the 4th standard. That's what the parents said, and he got the TC. And then we came to know that he couldn't even write alphabet, couldn't even do the basic addition or subtraction. So just to make the story short, that boy today, he speaks, he understands the language, he does arithmetic, and above all, what happened is one day he came to me and said, "Ma'am, there is a guava on the tree. Are you interested in eating?" He asked me. I said, "No, I'm not." Then, "It's all ready, ma'am, we can eat." So then I asked him, "Do you want to eat?" And his answer was, he didn't say, "Yes, I want." He said, "Ma'am, we all share."
That's wonderful.
This we all share. I said, "Yeah, you want to share with who?" Then he gave me 3 or 4 names of, his friends there. So I said, "Okay, you go and check one more time." So he went, he checked, he came back and said, "Ma'am, it is ready. Can I pluck it?" I said, "Yes." So he plucks it, comes to me again and shows it to me, and he says, "Ma'am, you want a piece?" I said, "No, I am okay." And he insists, "Ma'am, have one piece, ma'am." They said, "No, all of you share and eat." So that is the change that we have seen.
About the medium of instruction and also the languages like Tamil or Hindi or English. So what's the exact medium of instruction at different levels?
It's a very, very interesting and a complex question it is. I do believe, like Gandhiji said, it is a primary level that medium of instruction should be the mother tongue. But there's so many factors that I can totally make the medium of instruction as Tamil, because this is in Tamil Nadu, the mother tongue.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is, we do follow as textbooks wise we have English medium school, and then we have English textbooks and everything. But it's a combination of both the languages we teach. We teach English as a language, we give intense training in English as a language. And when it comes to certain subjects like science and math, we make a combination of these languages so that the children can understand easily and then assimilate these things in their mother tongue.
Yeah, that's very.
Yeah.
It's here. And how about, because as you said, the children are coming from people who are just workers or agricultural laborers at different stratum of social life. How are you sustaining running the school?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it is tough, it's difficult. We do have a structure for fees, but majority of them pay half of it, otherwise they don't pay. But if you say, okay, if you're not paying fees, you're not going to come to school, so it defeats the whole of the idea that we started this school. So far, we are doing it personally, my husband and I, and lots of friends, well-wishers are helping us. So far we are doing that, and I hope in a year or two I'll have some help from corporates or some organizations or different foundations. So now it's 2 years, so we can apply for ATG and you reach out to few organizations.
Oh, that's very good. And for the website, have you started a website for your school so that people who would like to help, people who would like to know more about the holistic education, to view their suggestions and also share their experiences with the management, like you and your husband, Dr. Bindu Madhav. Is there any website?
Yes, there is a website. It's www.suryaschool.weebly.com.
So can you just repeat?
www.suryaschool.weebly.com.
Oh, I see.
So within the next couple of months, we want to upload more things, and it's going to be more official, a proper
I
website.
see.
Yeah.
If the government has recognized your school?
Yes, we have got government recognition. Yes, so
I see.
So the school is now under the recognition of Tamil Nadu government.
I see.
Yes.
And while you are operating, have you formed some sort of a trust or the NGO, or what sort of a structure you have?
Yeah, this is a trust, Surya Education and Empowerment Trust. The school comes under the trust.
I see. And do you expect, nowadays the corporate social responsibility, because many of the corporates are looking at education as important, particularly the girl child is also given a lot of thrust. Health, education, these are the two important factors, as most of the people realize that if good health and good education, you can prosper in life. So in that context, do you expect corporates to come to your sort of a help so that you can sustain and you can improve your school?
Absolutely. I hope somebody comes along and recognizes and the work that we are doing, and then good enough to help us. That will be a great help. Once I have a little bit of corpus fund in the for the school, then I'll be able to spend more time with the children and then develop it more. So hopefully within the next couple of years, I hope something.
Okay,
like that
you started up to class 5, and then after 5th standard, what will happen to these children? Will they be able to pursue their education in some other institutions, or they will be able to do something else somewhere else, or you have any sort of idea to see that your children get higher education?
Yeah, it's a good question. What will happen to the children? One thing is, after 5th, they may have to go to different schools. That is one option they have, which already some of my children who are completing their grade 5, they don't want to go anywhere, And I also feel that it will be nice if they can continue with the kind of system that we have established, and that they have been thriving in that system. But at this point of time, we are not looking at again getting permission and extend it to grade 10 or through the state government. So with all our research and our experience, what we are thinking at this point of time is, after they finish grade 5, we would like to take the children through NIOS, which is a National Institute of Open Studies, and we also want the children to start a vocational training from that age. So our vision is from 6th to 10th, those 4 years, the children can be with us, but not with the Surya school as it is. And we can start tailoring, baking, cooking, pottery, maybe
Auto mechanism and all?
Basic stuff like that.
Some sort of electronics?
And then electronics, carpentry.
Okay.
And then, so they have their 6th, 7th, 8th curriculum that they will study, and then go side by side they are learning these crafts or this vocational training. Once they come to grade 10, then they will see, minimum you need grade 10 to apply for anything, even to apply for a driving license.
Yeah, that's true.
So grade 10 is a must for children.
That's true.
Right? So they can apply and then they can write the grade 10 exam, and by then they also will form an idea of what their standard, their education level, their interest and aptitude. So at that point of time, if they want to go further education, academics, they can do that. Or if they want to go into vocational training, they can continue that.
Okay.
So especially in rural areas, this is really important that these children are given. This is also another way of saying holistic education, that bring out, like Gandhiji said, bring out the best in a child. That's what is education. So by 10th standard, I hope that these children will realize their capacities, their interest, and then move on from there. So that is our future plan from after grade 5.
Okay. I also have some suggestion. Can individuals sponsor a child for a particular year or two, so that for the total amount of money which has to be spent on a single child, people can contribute their part, because a lot of people would like to see the rural poor, they are helping them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They can do anyways, whatever way they want to help, it is a help to us. There's no amount put in that you have to only give in this. Even, let's say 5,000 rupees somebody wants to
That's true.
contribute. A child can get 1 year's books for
that's very good.
So that itself is a help.
Fantastic.
So whatever way, cash, kind, if they want to sponsor, let's say a slide for the child, so they can, we can fix a slide for the child, or books, or whatever. Everything is appreciated.
Yeah. My last question.
Yeah.
The teachers who are with you in the holistic education, have they been trained in the philosophy of what you are telling now?
Yeah, that's also very interesting and a very important question. The teachers, we have taken the teachers locally, but they all have their, the so-called educational requirements. They have their degree with teachers training degree to B.Ed. But having said that, it's very difficult for them to really understand the new methodology and work on it. And this past 2 years, they have been given a lot of training,
Very good.
A couple of them have gone to Montessori training also. And then every week we have teacher training program, and then we train them, and they're very keen on learning, and then they're very committed to this right now.
Very nice. Madam, it's really wonderful to know more about the holistic education, particularly in a rural environment where they see the nature. And as you rightly said, it's a child, once he gets the basics in a right way, he understands life, and then he can build up on that, because unlike urban students, the opportunities available for the rural poor is absolutely very limited. So you are doing human work in such a community. Thank you very much.